marketing tool if you're promoting it out there on your website or something. There's no guarantee, right? With the cooperative compensation in MLS, it was a guarantee. Now it's just a marketing tool. So again, you can communicate it in marketing generally. You can put it on your social. You can send emails to all the agents in your market saying, I just listed this and the seller's offering X%, but you can't do anything collectively with other brokers or agents. So some other rule changes, you can no longer, and this has been probably since 2018 or 19, this went into effect, you can't state services are free unless there's absolutely no compensation from any source. And I think that was really common. And I still saw, like probably 6 months ago on a very large company's blog, or that their buyer services were free. So we can't say that. We have to disclose that fees and commissions are not set by law and are fully negotiable. Now, that being said, companies can set their own fee. You as an agent can establish your own fee. I had my own fee when I was in Vermont, right? So, but you have to just state that they're not set by law. They're not set by an association or an MLS. They're negotiable, but my company charges X or I charge X. And the buyer broker must have the buyer sign an agreement and negotiate fees prior to showing a property from MLS. And here's a big one. You can only be compensated what is in the buyer broker agreement, no more from any other source. And lastly, the compensation can't be open-ended. It must be a specific percent. So one of the questions that always comes up when I present is, what about builder bonuses? Well, the builder bonus needs to be negotiated in advance, or else, like if you set whatever your fee is, and then you'd have to go back to the buyer and say, well, the builder's offering a bonus. Would you mind revising this, which would be an awkward conversation to have, I think, frankly. Like, can we increase my compensation that we agreed upon because the builder's offering a bonus? So remember that it cannot be open-ended. It has to be set. So one of I love this chart that Jack Miller had our team create for us, the old way and the new way, right? So the old way was broker to broker. So you listed a property, the seller listed a property with the listing broker. They decided on what the total compensation would be. It went into MLS. They decided together, the seller, the listing broker decided. Actually, initially, it used to be just the listing broker. I remember this in Vermont, the listing broker could decide. Then they changed the forms, and then the seller was part of that decision and said, I want to offer X% to the buyer broker. Went to MLS. The buyer broker and the buyer often negotiated their fees. So one of the comments I just want to make is, in Vermont, for whatever reason, I don't know who decided this or how this happened, but the co-broke was often less than what I was willing to work for, right? It was a lesser amount. And so I always had to have this conversation with the buyer early on. So the new way is consumer to consumer, right? So now the seller and the listing broker are going to decide what the listing broker's fees